G'day geeks, Chris here, and in this video I'm going to show off some of the stuff that I picked up and received at the recent Collector Zone, which is a huge toy fair here in Perth, Western Australia. So I attended with my good mate Ryan, the Collector Kid. Definitely give his channel a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I bought some good stuff, I saw some good stuff. Let's have a look at some of that stuff. Collector Zone, much like Nexus Toy Fair, is a toy fair held every 3 months here in Perth, Western Australia. So Nexus is the one that I always go to as a seller. I've only been to the Collector Zone Toy Fair twice, I think. So I know my good friend Ryan, he goes every time to either have a stall or buy stuff. So yes, I jumped on the train. It's a bit of a journey, probably an hour and a half for me travel. That's why I don't go that often, but it's substantially larger than Nexus Toy Fair, and again they sell similar stuff like action figures, vintage modern, VHS, video games, a lot of comics, cards. Pokemon cards is very popular, and of course the stuff we kind of always see: Lego, Harry Potter, Star Wars, you know, all the good stuff. So yeah, I was pretty happy to see stuff there that I generally don't see at Nexus. I guess they have a bit of a different flavour. But yeah, it was awesome just to spend the morning with Ryan at his table and have some good conversations and get some good deals as well. So some definitely good stuff there to be had at Collector Zone. Highly recommended. The next one is in August. So here's a bit of some of the stuff that I picked up. Well, not some, all of the stuff. Here's a look at all of the stuff that I picked up at Collector Zone in May. The first few items are Star Trek related. I love Star Trek Generations. I grew up watching the original series in the 60s. Well, I'm not that old, but the reruns of the ones on the 60s on TV. And yes, obviously got into the Next Generation later as well. So Star Trek Generations from the 90s is when we had Picard and Kirk teaming up. A great film, I love it. So yes, I do have a bit of a substantial collection of the Star Trek films on VHS, so hopefully I can get all of them. So yes, there's one more to add. Speaking of which, I got this for $10 and I thought, oh, that's cool, it's like a Star Trek magazine, all about Generations. No, I should have looked more carefully. It's actually a whole bunch of posters. I think there's like 20 different posters in here, all of Star Trek Generations. So I don't know what I'm going to do with so many posters. I might have to like give some away to friends of mine or something. But yes, nonetheless, some vintage Star Trek Generations posters, more than I was bargaining for. And Ryan, as a thank you, gave me one of the things that he gave me was this Star Trek Insurrection standee, VHS kind of standee that would be used at VHS video, shops to promote Star Trek Insurrection. Yes, it's not one of the best films, but the Star Trek films always have the best posters, and I think I actually do have this film on VHS as well. So there we go, posters, VHS, and VHS poster. Not a bad start for the day. I've had my eye on these two G.I. Joe classified items for months, I want to say, really. So I just generally collect the G.I. Joe classified series from Hasbro, the 6-7 inch style figures with great articulation accessories. Basically just the figures that I had as a kid. They have some deep cuts in that line, and they just keep producing more, which is awesome, and some great vehicles as well. So this is the Cobra Bat, kind of the Android one. I believe the original vintage one had the kind of lenticular chest piece, which this one doesn't have. But yeah, swap out parts and all that kind of stuff, and obviously the lovely retro packaging, which is awesome. So lovely thick card, and just like we remember from the 80s as well, with the file card there. So that's pretty awesome to get the bat, the what does it stand for, Battle Armor Trooper or something. They're basically just robots for the bad guys. And this is pretty awesome. I was happy to see this. A big fan of Sergeant Slaughter as a kid, as I'm sure many of us were. And this is a couple of the Slaughter's Marauders, I believe, and I did have the vintage figures O-ring style of these two characters as a kid. So we've got Red Dog and Taurus, and they always have distinctive kind of colours with the red and the yellow, and so very happy to grab these. Pretty awesome. And yeah, they always have great action figure packaging and awesome accessories as well. So that's a double pack. So I think I actually got this from Collector Zone, actually, the store, which was not too far off so from the store that Ryan and I spent all day at. So there we go, a couple of good guys and one bad guy from the G.I. Joe classified line. One of the things I'm trying to focus on this year and probably next is collect more G1 Transformers. So this is a subset of the original Transformers. This is from 1987. This is one of two, I think, duocons, which is basically two Transformers that combine to make one. So this guy's name is Flywheels from 1987. So we have a lovely kind of green tank and a maroon red jet. And basically with duocons they combine together, so they kind of snap into each other and combine to form one robot. So they've got little pegs there, it's kind of snap in, and I think that's it. And then they kind of, yeah, that's pretty cool. I just love the way Hasbro kind of would be very creative, with these and the Pretenders and all that kind of stuff. Just make the most out of the Transformers line. So yeah, they don't necessarily transform into other robots until they combine. Very limited articulation, I guess, and he's not complete. I think he had a gun as well, which I need to track down at some point. But yeah, pretty cool. Not in bad shape. Kind of got some of the original stickers, but yes, I just like the transformation. This is one I did have as a kid, so pretty awesome that I can still have that. So there we go. There is a duocon, and yeah, just a very kind of novel way to transform, and they just come apart as well. So tank, jet, stick them together and they become a robot and just kind of pull out like that. Wonderful. So there we go, another one from my G1 Transformers collection. This is Prince Lightstar, the good guy from the Skeleton Warriors line. So that was an animated series from 1994. It only lasted one season, 13 episodes, but it was actually created, or perhaps co-created, by Gary Goddard, the guy who actually directed the live-action 1987 Masters of the Universe movie. So yes, it was a short-lived action figure line and cartoon, and I don't think he's complete. I think there's another couple of weapons that he should have, but pretty cool. I've been after some of these for a while, but carded Skeleton Warriors figures are actually quite expensive, so happy to find this guy in pretty good condition. I think I've got the first appearance of Skeleton Warriors in comics. There was a short-lived comic, and I think I might even have one trading card that I got somewhere along the line in the 90s. So yes, limited articulation, as is the 90s figures, but it looks pretty cool, pretty good detail, and pretty good condition as well. So there we go, Prince Lightstar, the good guy from Skeleton Warriors, if anyone remembers that series. So I don't think I'll pick up any more unless I see any carded examples that are cheap, but pretty happy to at least have one Skeleton Warrior in my collection. Speaking of short-lived cartoon and action figure lines, who remembers Bionic 6? I loved Bionic 6 as a kid. They were such unique sculpts, die-cast metal with kind of some translucent parts, and just the theme song and cartoon intro was absolutely amazing. So this is Bungie. He's from LGN, who we know made Thundercats as well, their big claim to fame. And as you'll notice, this isn't in English. So what is this, a Spanish or something card, or Mexican or something? I don't know, look. But yes, initially I was a bit like, I don't know if I want to get it because it's not an English card, but I don't know when I'm going to see any other carded examples of Bionic 6. So one of the sellers at Collector Zone had this, and I think he had Helen, the mum, as well, and maybe Eric or one other, I can't remember. But I'd love to get Fluffy. I'd had that as a kid, and the couple of the bad guys I had as a kid as well. So yes, I'd love to get some more Bionic 6 figures, but they're hard to come by, especially in good condition, because they're die-cast metal and especially complete. But nonetheless, yeah, I was a bit skeptical. I was like, do I want an international card? But yeah, you just rarely see them. And I've actually got a Japanese carded Ninja Turtle figure, a foot soldier, and I think I have a Spanish, potentially, vintage Mask figure as well. So building up a short, small collection of internationally carded figures. So I thought one more. And yes, the bubble's a bit yellow and stuff, but he's complete, and I just love the Bionic 6. So absolutely lovely to have a carded Bionic 6 for the collection. And we are just on a roll with obscure 80s and 90s TV shows. So this is Turbo Two-Tone He came with the Roadster vehicle, which I definitely had as a kid. He is from the 1980s Cops and Crooks line, which is a line of action figures and cartoon, both of which lasted only one season, I believe. So yeah, one of the vendors had a handful of Cops and Crooks, and I've got a couple, none that survived my childhood unfortunately, but in relatively good shape. You can see he's missing a couple of guns, but he came with the Roadster vehicle as well. So the Cops and Crooks was such an awesome line, and they were all kind of unique sculpts, and you can see that they've got the kind of the metal there as well. But yes, I don't think there's any shared parts with any of them, but yes, such unique looks. And the cartoon again intro was just awesome. And famed comic artist Bart Sears, I believe, did a lot of the design work and packaging art. Big Bad Workshop, which is the Big Bad toy store, toy manufacturing arm, has recently brought out a bulletproof figure, which I do have. He's the main good guy, which I'll be reviewing at some point. But yes, you very rarely see Cops and Crooks figures, especially you never see them complete or on card, so even loose I thought I would grab this guy. And with his kind of cool sunnies, his lovely handlebar moustache, he kind of reminds me of famed Aussie cricketer Merv Hughes. So yeah, pretty cool, and a very good looking figure. So there we go, from Cops and Crooks. Probably before most of us collected action figures or comics or trading cards, we collected stamps, and I know I did. And I saw this and it brought back a flood of nostalgia. So this was the last thing actually I purchased at Collector's Zone. So a bit of research. 1979, 1980, which is the year of the child, Walt Disney teamed up with some stamp companies to make these kind of Disney focused stamps, and I had a few of these, in fact still do. They're not worth anything, but they're pretty cool to see Disney characters on stamps from all different countries. And there's a few different ones to choose from, but I didn't have this one in my collection, so I thought I'd grab it. I think this was only $10. He had the vendor, the seller had a handful of these as well. So yes, very obscure. Don't see this very often. Still in the original kind of cellophane or plastic as well. Just stamps on cardboard backing, and you can see it's not in the greatest condition on the back. But yeah, pretty nostalgic for me, because this is the first thing I ever collected as a kid. This is a Hook Horror from LJN's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons line. He's very rare. I think I paid $30 for this guy. It's not in the greatest condition. You can see some markings and stuff around his mouth there. Limited articulation, as those figures are, but nonetheless you don't see a lot of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures. I had a few as a kid. I'm a big D&D player now, and it was back in the 90s as well, but yes, I didn't have a lot of figures, but this Hook Horror is a rare figure, so pretty happy to spot him in the wild. And this is one of those little demon creatures from Black Star, the 1980s again animated line as well. So he had a couple there, and this one's got a bit of markings and colour on the back, but that's all right. They made these, I think, also from Galoob, I think, made the Black Star line. Again, a limited cartoon and action figure line, but pretty cool. I think this may be the only one I have, but they made them in all different colours, so pretty cool. So I put a couple of bad looking guys, so Black Star and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And finally, thank you to Ryan, who as we were packing up, he didn't sell this, and I was like, oh, I remember this guy. This is Strong Guy. He was one of my favourite characters from X-Force in the 90s when I was reading X-Force in the 90s. Is one of my favourite characters, so this is from Toy Biz. So he gave this to me for free, which is very lovely, because Ryan is a lovely guy. So Strong Guy, Toy Biz, 1990s, and I love kind of the corner box there as well, which shows the characters from the 90s comics. I don't really have a lot of Toy Biz, and I was really into the comics, but I wasn't collecting the action figures of the time, really. Every now and then I'd pick up like a 90s Kenner, Batman or Superman figure, but I don't think I collected any Marvel figures in the 90s. So this is a lovely carded example of Strong Guy. I know there's a recent Marvel Legends figure of him, but he's a chunky fella, and it's like close to $100 here in Australia. So I was like, probably won't get him. So I'm very happy to have this guy on card. And yes, you can see got a trading card there in the background as well, which is included, which is absolutely lovely. I just love the outrageousness of this character and the costume design. So there we go, thanks to Ryan. So we've got some pretty good stuff, as you can see, some new stuff, some vintage stuff, some very obscure stuff. Very happy to get all of that. And yeah, it's quite large. It's got to be the largest toy and collectible fair in Perth, Western Australia for sure. The next one is in August, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to attend that. It's a bit of a travel for me, but it was definitely worth the trip on this occasion for sure. So that's in August in Edith Cowan University in Joondalup, same location as it always is. So follow Collector Zone on their socials if you're interested in going to that. But thanks for watching all the way to the end. I'll catch you at the next video. Goodbye, geeks.